2.8 बिलियन लोगों के हित जुड़े हुए हैं। इससे पूरी मानवता के कल्याण का मार्ग भी प्रशस्त होगा। परस्पर विश्वास, सम्मान और संवेदनशीलता के आधार पर हम अपने संबंधों को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। एक्सेलेंसी, चीन द्वारा SCO की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए मैं आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। एक बार फिर चीन यात्रा के निमंत्रण के लिए और आज की हमारी बैठक के लिए आपका हार्दिक धन्यवाद।
Of course, viewers, you've heard the statement by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He was speaking to the President of China, Xi Jinping. He has congratulated Xi Jinping for hosting this successful SCO Summit. He has stated that cooperation between India and China is necessary in order to improve the condition of humanity at large, because India and China cumulatively are home to 2.8 billion people. That's not all. He stated that now India and China are witnessing an environment of stability as far as bilateral ties are concerned. The Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has resumed. There is a relationship of trust, respect and resilience as well. This is something that the Indian Prime Minister has highlighted in his opening remarks to President Xi Jinping. He has further stated that both countries have agreed to border management and that direct flights will also be resuming very, very soon. That, of course, is the latest that we're bringing from Tianjin. Meanwhile, we're being joined by a slew of experts. We have with us Major General Rajan Kochar. He is a senior strategic and defense expert joining us from New Delhi. We also have with us Dr. Satoru Nagao, fellow at the Hudson Institute in Tokyo, and Professor Rohan Gunaratna, international affairs expert, joining us from Singapore. I'd like to go across to Major General Kochar first. We've just heard what the Indian Prime Minister has said. This is, of course, a meeting at which the eyes of the world are trained towards, because we've seen ties between India and the United States of America fluctuate over the recent months. US has slapped steep 50% tariffs against India as well. So do you think we're witnessing a realignment, and can we really trust China at the border?
Thank you very much for inviting me for this discussion. A very, very important question actually you've raised is the trust. And trust would be apparent in case China moves ahead on the border management issues. A border stability protocol is required to be worked out between the two countries. A special representative mechanism is already existing. 23 meetings have taken place. WMCC is also meeting. So what I feel is that in case this trust has to be regained, because you see, this trust has been lost, because what China did in Galwan and what China has done in eastern Ladakh was against all the treaties which have been signed between India and China, and especially the 1996, the confidence building treaty, Article 1, which says that no country will attack each other. So China has done to the contrary. So I feel that the first and foremost, in case this relationship has to go ahead, that trust has to be regained and the talk has to be walked. So, and if I actually say that is, I'm reminded of that famous scholar Sun Tzu. He actually said that every chaos gives you number of opportunities. So right now, tariff is a chaos, and because of that, Xi Jinping is sensing an opportunity now to come closer to India, because he knows that this is the right moment to strike, because China is very, very subtle in its policies. And I feel that this is a great occasion for both the countries to actually get together. It is going to be a win-win situation. And why I actually say that is because China is looking for a market now, because after all, China has also been imposed a large amount of tariffs from the United States, and therefore China sees India as a great opportunity to do business. Already there is a trade deficit of $100 billion. Or the part of India would like to see some kind of reciprocity as far as trade is concerned in especially IT, pharmaceuticals, and the agriculture sector, because our textiles and gems and jewelry have been badly impacted by trade and tariffs with Russia. So we would like to gain some ground with China. So I would like to see this, and especially China coming forward, because China is a huge manufacturing hub. China has got surplus actually to give, and China is looking for markets. And how China will react to the Indian proposal will substantiate whether we can trust China. Does China really want to do trade with India? Does China really want to help India, especially when Trump has imposed 50% tariffs? And my last point is about the border management. I would like to see a disengagement, a de-escalation, and a de-induction happening in a phased manner. And I think this is the biggest challenge India has, and especially Depsang and Demchok, because these are the areas China has established a number of villages there. There is a habitat there, and China has enacted three new border laws. Now, the big question here is, will China de-engage from here, disengage from here? Especially after habitat has been established by China, its own people are, staying there, and how far back, China will go. That is the next question. And the third is, what kind of joint mechanism we would like to have for patrolling these areas, for joint patrolling of these areas. And there is also a talk of building up a standard operating procedure for the UAV management and the winter deployment, because the winter is approaching now. Do we see a disengagement of troops happening on the line of actual control during the winters? Because this is an aspect which has been raised in the meetings with China recently. So all these issues, I think, are very, very complicated. They're not so simple as we discuss here. But the intent, I would like to see the intent of the Chinese, because unless the intent is shown by the Chinese, mere words are not going to happen. We need concrete measures for China to understand the concerns of India. And if China is willing to do that, then I am confident that we would move ahead.
Absolutely, and I'd like to take forward some of the points that you've made, Major General Kochhar, with Professor Gunaratna, who's joining us from Singapore. Thank you for taking our time, joining us on NewsX World Live. Major General Kochhar has pointed to the fact that India should proceed with caution as far as dealing with China is concerned, because there are certain issues, particularly with regards to the border, that have not been entirely resolved. China continues to occupy Aksai Chin. It continues to make claims over Arunachal Pradesh. It went so far in order to, in fact, rename certain places, a number of places within Arunachal Pradesh. In particular, we've seen increased military buildup take place as well. So how do we balance our economic concerns and the gains that India would make economically, along with the very real military build-up threat that's taking place along the border?
What we are witnessing is that the Xi Jinping's meeting with Narendra Modi is going to focus on the positives. That is what India and China can do together to restore the relationship. It will certainly, their officials will address those border issues and other issues that has created a rift between India and China since 1962 border war. But for more than 2,500 years, India and China has been friends, and this very short period of discord, both the leaders want to move beyond that. Wang Yi's visit, the foreign minister of China's visit to India in many ways, and of course the meeting with Ajit Doval and with the Indian foreign minister, they've decided to work on what can strengthen the relationship at this point, because India and China, if they can work together, there will be tremendous stability in the Asian space. The second point is that these border issues will be addressed, but it will take a long time, and some of those issues may never be addressed. The final point I want to share with you is that the SCO is the world's largest regional organization, but today all focus, including Western powers, are focusing on the relationship between India and China as Modi and Xi Jinping will meet, so that there will be a complete realignment of India. And President Putin has played a very important role in bringing these two countries together. So this summit will be a historic summit, because this summit will be the foundation for the creation of a multipolar world. And we will witness very significant geopolitical and economic changes in the coming months and coming years.
I'd also like to rope in Dr. Naga, who's waiting rather patiently with us. Since you're in Tokyo, I'd like a perspective from a Japanese lens in particular towards this meeting that has taken place. You know, Indian Prime Minister has just wrapped up a visit from Japan, a rather successful visit. A number of MOUs were inked. $68 billion of investment was announced from Japanese companies in India itself. India and Japan have enjoyed very close ties as well. We cooperate very closely as far as the Quad is concerned, something that these countries have reaffirmed, especially to counter China's aggression in the Indo-Pacific. So how does Japan in particular view this realignment? Is Japan really concerned at what's happening?
Yes, of course. Prime Minister Modi's schedule indicates that Prime Minister Modi do not trust China, because he visits Japan before he visits China, and he will not join the military parade against Japan just after the SCO. So that's why Prime Minister Modi's message is very clear. Even if he will talk with Xi Jinping in China, he does not trust Xi Jinping. This year, because of China is president, China holds various types of anti-Japan movement, because the SCO is one of the example. Of course, he will gather many countries' leaders, but connected with military parade they are organizing, and which military parade which celebrate their fiction victory against Japan. So that's, and they make many movies. The brutal Japan, the bullying China, and the Chinese hero defeat Japan, something like that. It looks like the Chinese version Hollywood movie. They made many and published it. This year is 18th anniversary, and China want to express this situation is the year against Japan, which indirect message to the United States. China is a great power, and we defeat Japan, and next enemy is you, United States. So U.S. should concede. And in World War II, the U.S. was friends. So if U.S. remember, China is not the enemy of you. But if you are the enemy, like Japan, we will defeat you. Something like that is China, the message China want to send. So that's why, view from the Prime Minister Modi, why India need to join such kind of fiction-based China's dream. So Prime Minister Modi visit Japan first, before China, and before the China organized military parade against Japan, he will return to India. So that is clear. As a business-like relation between India and China has happened, of course, but the real background of the trust, India do not trust China. That is clear message.
All right, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Nagao. I'd also like to thank Major General Rajan Kochar. I request Professor Gunaratna to stay on with us. There's another crucial development we're tracking. Brazil has now proposed an extraordinary